Hey folks, I recently made some vids entitled Isn't It Enough? And they were parodies of Richard Dawkins. They're based on the Atheist Ad Contest submission, finalist submission by Andrew Skegg, in which he uses Dawkins to speak over the ad, saying, isn't it enough that we enjoy the beauty of the garden without having fairies dancing at the bottom of it? And specifically, if you look at the response of the judge, Gunnell Percher, you'll see that this clearly was offensive. When I created the Atheist Ad Contest, just before that vid was, is Dawkins the reason there aren't more atheists? I believe that Dawkins is a very, very talented spokesperson for the cause of reason. And he's basically a great guy, except he has a flaw. And that is that he belittles people and he's arrogant. And I find it interesting that many folks in the atheist community have trouble seeing this. Actually, it's not surprising, but it's interesting. And that when I do come around to showing them this and they go, you know what? Yeah, I see it. You're right. I see that. I watched those videos of Skegg's ad and Ask Egg, and I saw Gunnell Percher, and yeah, that was offensive, and then yeah, he was offended, and I understand why. Then you make an excuse for Dawkins. Like, says, yeah, but, you know, he said that we should not treat religion with respect or something like that, so it's okay if he does that. Well, it's normal for people to try to take a certain view of things that are kind of monolithic. It's a lot easier. You don't have the dissonance in saying, well, you know, things are nuanced here. Nuance is what you don't want in an advertising campaign. Nuance is what you don't want in a political campaign. But maybe nuance is what you do want to have in a discussion about stuff on YouTube. I mean, that would be pretty interesting. So anyway, what I've done is I've included Andrew Skegg's ad along with excerpts from Gunnell Percher. And you can take a look at it and see it for yourself. And that'll be at the end of the vid, and if you've already seen them, then you don't have to watch that part. But I like to throw in some nuance into the conversation, because pretty much YouTube has become, or is, ever since I've looked at YouTube, pretty much there's certain lines of attack or argument, and very few times do people actually look at any kind of nuance at all, except going straight down the middle for that attack against religion, against faith, and all that. And that's understandable. But if you look at even some of the folks that are very, very intelligent folks, they all make arguments, and they're just supporting their arguments and not talking about things that actually go against what they believe. There's very little of that. And you might think, well, why would they do that? Well, that would be cool. I mean, then we could really talk about stuff. But now that's absolutely asking too much. I know that. Except there are some people that are able to do that. But most of it is like, here's my point of view, and that's it. Dawkins is great, and he doesn't have any flaws. And then finally, if you, very, very difficult, say, you know, you show them stuff, and you talk about them, and they go, yeah, you know, okay, but it's little, it's not that big, and then maybe, okay, it's a little bigger, but if he has it, then it's good, or it's that. And so I'm thinking, geez, that would be cool to have some more nuance to stuff. And a lot of people go, what the fuck are you talking about? Nuance. I don't get it. Just don't use the big words. No, actually, I think that's a tip of the hat to Co York in one of his comments to me on a recent vid. Anyway, I'd like to talk about the idea of faith and denial. Because pretty much, you know, the way it works on YouTube is faith is bad. And obviously denying things, you know, reality, reality, reality. Well, I'm into science. I'm into realism. I'm not for religion. I'm not for deceiving people. But I'm willing to say that there are things that people experience that might have some nuance and might allow them to, I don't know, break those sort of hard-class, ironclad rules a little bit. One of the things that comes to me is FDR. FDR was stricken with polio, and he never admitted that he had paralysis. real paralysis. He could not move his legs. That's it. He said that he had muscular weakness, and all through his life he believed that he would walk again. And he also believed that he was not paralyzed. And in fact, this is clearly a form of denial, and the odds of him ever walking again are very, very close to zero. And this is totally rational and obvious, but before he became paralyzed, there was very little evidence that he would amount to much politically. He really didn't have much discipline. Afterwards, he really changed his tune, and he never ever let go of the fact that he was not paralyzed. He never admitted that, as far as we know, and to his dying day imagined that he would walk again, and he even thought that he walked with braces and with crutches and stuff. He was in complete denial and had faith that he would walk again. Christopher Reeve, former Superman actor, is also another case like that. These are extreme cases, but I don't know. I need extreme cases to get some nuance into this. And without spelling it out too much, I mean, pretty much what you're saying is that, well, maybe having faith in a situation that is unrealistic faith or denial about certain things could actually lead to positive effects. It may not be desirable in other ways, but it shouldn't be monolithic. And so a lot of times people in survival situations where the odds are very, very poor that they will survive have faith, and they die, and we don't hear about it. And occasionally someone survives and they say their faith doesn't have to be faith in God. It can be faith in something completely irrational and unreasonable, like the fact that they're going to be able to live. But it's not that, well, you know, the odds are 1 in 10,000 I live. The odds are great that I'm going to live, even though there's absolutely no evidence of that. But believing that does a lot to further their survival. So this is just throwing a monkey wrench into things. I've got a lot of other things I can think of, but not going to bring them up here. Just trying to bring some nuance into the conversation and see if anyone wants to play. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and put the Andrew Skagg video on now, and the comment by Gunnar L. Percher, and that'll be that, folks. Thanks for listening. Stay tuned for the vids.
Isn't it enough to see that a garden is beautiful without having to believe that there are fairies at the bottom of it too?
It's pretty good. Ask Egg had a whole lot of entries, and thought that was kind of unusual, but nevertheless, this entry was pretty good, and it has some very good imagery, and like the music is really, really good, and the logo at the end is superior, although it's not quite as mind-blowing as one of his earlier versions where the logo was animated. Nevertheless, all of this is, it doesn't cut it for me, because you get through all this good stuff and then right at the end he slaps me in the face with some comment about fairies. But this line about isn't it enough to see that the garden is beautiful without having to believe fairies are at the bottom of it, I found that to just take away so much. So that's my score on that one.